Omega Quintet is the first PlayStation 4 release from prolific Japanese RPG developer-publisher Idea Factory and Compile Heart. It's an all-original IP featuring elements of dystopian future science fiction and Compile Heart's trademark satire, in this case focusing on Japan's idol culture. And make no mistake though, this is not a management sim or rhythm game a la Hyperdimension Neptunia producing perfection. It's an RPG as hardcore as anything Compile Heart's previously put out, and in many ways it's one of their best games to date. Now, much like Compile Heart's most successful series, the aforementioned Hyperdimension Neptunia, Omega Quintet places a pretty strong focus on dungeon crawling. Now, this isn't a straight clone of Neptunia, mind, and nor is it prone to the same sort of copy-pasted dungeon syndrome of its popular stablemate. Rather, Omega Quintet opts for a setting with just a few large, sprawling dungeons that you gradually explore and unlock deeper areas of as you progress through the game. There's an almost Metroidvania-style feeling to this as you complete quests to unlock field skills that, in turn, allow you entry to previously inaccessible areas. A real highlight of Omega Quintet is its battle system. Rather than reskinning Neptunia's combat, Omega Quintet instead adopts its own very distinct approach, taking inspiration from its musical themes and performance without feeling the need to drop in rhythm-based minigames and things like that, although there are a few timed button presses here and there if you want to get the very best out of it. Core to the combat is the Final Fantasy X style manipulatable turn order and the harmonic system, which lets you squish several different party members' actions into a single turn and trigger devastating chain attacks as a result. There's also a very strong emphasis on showmanship, with significant bonuses being awarded if you complete combats in as stylish a manner as possible, by performing skills in an aesthetically pleasing order, by defeating enemies spectacularly efficiently, and by completing the requests of the audience when you trigger the buffing live concert mode. Now again, in rather sharp contrast to the Neptunia series, which tends to have relatively predefined characters with minor customization along the way, Omega Quintet has got enormously flexible and fully customizable characters. There's a sprawling skill tree that combines with a weapon proficiency system to let you develop each of the game's 5 playable characters in distinct directions, so they can complement one another. Although the roles that are suggested to you by their starting equipment are solid choices, you might find yourself branching out a bit, particularly as the game progresses and becomes more challenging, and especially if you choose to indulge in the extremely difficult but rewarding post-game. Now for some people, I'm one of them, all these enjoyable mechanics might mean nothing at all if the story isn't up to scratch, and thankfully Omega Quintet delivers on that front too. Like many of Compile Heart's other games, the emphasis is very much on individual characterization and the rapport between both the heroines and the player protagonist narrator character. The setting itself is interesting and compelling though. If you hunt down some of the hidden archive material, it reveals some interesting backstory that lends a bit of depth to the lore. And the juxtaposition between the bleak dystopian future setting and the hyper-energetic, colourful nature of idol culture, it works really well, particularly as the story explores elements such as the fickleness of fame and how easy it is to turn everyone against you when you're in the public eye. It's not all bleak dystopian future and hardcore grinding though. If you want a bit of a break from all that, the PVS system provides a frighteningly comprehensive means of making your own music videos from the in-game songs. It's quite a lot of fun to play with just in its own right, and I've lost a fair few hours to that along the way. Now overall then, Omega Quintet is a very solid addition to the PlayStation 4's library, and a purchase that JRPG fans can make with confidence. And like many of Compile Heart's previous games, it's perhaps not the most polished or technically proficient game in the world, but it's got a great deal of heart and soul, and an undeniably addictive quality to it that will keep you playing through the story at least once, and perhaps even onwards, as I did, to pursue the insanity of the post-game. Oh yeah, and Nene as best girl.